Thought I'd give you a bit of a tour around the tank now that it's all up and running. You can see my new Anthias that I've been in quarantine for several months. It's the male. If it comes out in the light, you'll see the dark spot on the fin, my nem. It's the female with a bright yellow fin on the top, and pink body, and the male, you can see the dark spot forming, and the fin at the top is going darker, and the fin at the back is getting the blue tips. Eventually he'll turn all red with blue fins, all that yellow will disappear. It virtually has off the top fin already. And I have, on this side of the tank, I have a large rock with a kind of little cave in it. Hard to see in the blue light through there, so you can kind of swim through. There's some mushrooms on there, some Yuma kind of mushrooms on there, and some zoas. Then there's this big rock on the top. This is this Monty I spent ages trying to identify. That's quite nice, and some kind of purple and yellow zoas, and these red ones that everybody has, green ones, some fluorescent green mushrooms, quite nice in the blues. And then these acans I got from a frag that were, there's about 4 of them to begin with, and you go around this thing, there's probably about 20 or something on there now. I've had for 3 years. My candy canes got stung by my anemone, and they really can't tell if they're going to recover or not. So one of the heads looks like it's going to fall off. The rest look okay, but are all a bit shriveled. Some zoas and Aptasia, however you pronounce them, is in the middle of that. It's the only one I've got left after my peppermint seem to have gone to work on them. Porites seem to have not done too well in the move. The tops kind of died off, but the bottom part's growing back quite quickly. My frog spawn, which has a lot of heads, I bought that with 4 heads on. It's probably about 15 or 20 on there now. That's kind of this half of the tank. You just take you around so you can see in and out, so you can big swim through area there, and around the side you can see they can swim through the smaller fish at least can swim through there. That's Mr. Tickle, and you can see all the way down the back of the tank, so there's lots of swim space there. Take you across the other side. This is my favourite coral, this frog spawn. It's really nice. Again, started as a much smaller piece. It's about 3-4 times the size it was when I first bought it. This hammer was sold to me as a yellow hammer from Charterhouse Aquatics, and it's dark green now, so not what I bought, but it's still nice, I like it. I built some kind of overhangs, some Duncans here, and just some little Paulies. This is my frog spawn. It's got about 3 heads on it now. It's hard to tell, I can never really see the mouths. Certainly bigger than it was. Some long lash yellow zoas, which my wife really likes, but they drop off and they're virtually impossible to get off the rocks, so I keep it separate. Some leathers that have just slowly shrunk in my tank since I've had them. Never did very well. I'm hoping they might recover in this tank, but we'll see. Since I had no fish in, this red algae's just grown out of nowhere. I've never seen it before, but it just grew on this rock, so I guess it's been there. It just pecked back a Kenya tree, some little green zoas, and long polyp toadstools that just constantly split and grow like crazy in my tank. I'm probably going to sell that whole piece of rock on there. It's kind of a triangular shaped thing, because I want to get rid of the Kenya tree. Once they drop off, they tend to stick to something and I can't get rid of them again. There's some little zoas and bits and pieces. There's actually a couple of different frags there put together. I'm hoping they'll spread. This acro isn't doing too hot. The tips that are white I don't think are actually growth. I think it might have stripped a little bit in the move, so we'll see if it recovers or not. And some fluoro green mushrooms there. There's some more of my long polyp toadstools. These zoas in the middle there, the red ones, I got again as a little frag, and it's impossible to count how many there are there. There's well, not impossible, but I'm not doing it. There must be, I don't know, 200. They've just spread all over that rock. I think it looks great now, but lots of swim through spaces again. You can see caves and overhangs, and I've tried to kind of keep the rockwork very open. You can see all the way through front to back in lots of different places. And then last bit here, I need to sort this out. This GSP, this flap in the centre there is kind of folded over itself. I just need to turn this rock around. What I've done is I've placed the green star polyps on top of another rock, but they're separated completely from everything else, so they can't touch or grow over the top of anything, but they are fluorescent green and really add a massive bright splash of colour and movement to the tank. And then the other thing you'll notice, I've got a little box up there that I put frags, the Kenya tree and whatever in, just to stop them sticking to the rocks and things, and then I sell them on. And this is an idea that I talked about on the forum on Reef Base, of putting Cheeto in a net that, you know, you'd get oranges or something in, and then letting it grow through, and the tangs or whatever would eat it from there. I haven't got any tangs in at the minute, but you can see clearly that it does grow through the net, and it's getting battered about in the flow, and it seems to be quite liking it. It's getting enough light, and then I'll just rip a big chunk of that off, and I'll probably start growing it in the sump instead, but I'll keep some in there. Yeah, I think that's about it. So that's the whole tank. I'll show you the sump quickly then. So the sump down here, it runs really high up, that's by design. Ignore the green pipe coming across, that's coming out it's just when the tank wasn't running properly. I was pumping one end of the sump to the other to keep it all running, keep it all warm. So there's two drains with a ball valve on there to control it. You can see there's absolutely no bubbles or anything coming out here. It's really nicely controlled. That flows over the top into the skimmer chamber, which there is barely any space for this skimmer. It's literally this air intake is like 2 millimeters from the top, but I can slide it off this sideways and drop it down in to take the cup off, so it seems to work. There's a little hermit crab in there somewhere that came with my new rock that was just bullying my snails, so he's going to live there from now on. This chamber is going to be where the Cheeto will grow, so under the skimmer it comes out underneath and flows over, so that should create lots of flow in there, and then into another chamber where I'll put, don't know, that might be where I stick the phosphate reactor, and then that goes under and over as a bubble trap into the return chamber, which has hopefully plenty of depth in it. And then I also have this funny little thing that we discussed, which is the overflow for the sump. So it can be in any kind of emergency that the sump overflows, or if I choose to deliberately water change and pump water down from the top over the top of the weir, it'll then pour out through this tube. It goes over the top. I don't know if you can make it out. I'll try. I don't know, I don't think you can see that. Anyway, it goes over the top through a bulkhead and along a tube along the back wall and out the wall. No, you can't make it out, I don't think. Along there and then through the wall and out to a drain. No, I haven't done the electrics yet. I need to fit the electrics properly. And then on top I've got 3 max spec razors They were 2 on my 4-foot tank, 2 120s. I've upgraded them to the 130 watt LEDs and 120 degree lenses, and then added 1 extra. So they seem to fit quite nicely over the top. I've got the cover glasses on at the minute. You can see lots of water kind of collecting on there. I don't know if I'm going to keep them or not, we'll see. When the tank, if the return pump goes off and on again, the return, which I've got barely under the water surface at the minute, the return splashes quite a lot because the water level drops significantly. So I'm a little bit concerned that if I take the cover glass off, it'll splash all over my lights when I turn the return pump back on. You can see the surface is kind of covered in gunge at the minute. In the centre, it's getting lots of movement off the power head, but it's just not powerful enough to clear everywhere. And if I raise the return anymore, it sucks air down and starts blowing bubbles around the tank, so I can't do anything much with that. So I've ordered a Jebao cross flow, and hopefully that will create a lot more flow in the tank. You can see there's quite a bit of flow next to the power head, and over at the other end the anemone's kind of moving around nicely, the frog spawners and these things. But when I come to this end, there's virtually nothing, so I really need to improve the flow in the tank. Okay, that's it.